away from your cells. So there's this like protective mucus layer. When you start eating processed foods and animal products, you start to break down that layer, and pathogens enter, and you start to have inflammation and a war starting in your gut. This is a closer picture. On the left is the cell itself, the enterocyte, the gut cell that lines the intestinal wall, is in homeostasis. Everything's good. On the right-hand side, many things begin to happen. You break down that barrier with pathogens, and then you start to absorb fat at an increased pace. You're not supposed to be absorbing all that fat from your diet. So this is something that you can actually change. Your gut bacteria you can change. How many of you know if you were born through C-section or not, or if you were breastfed or formula fed, or if you've taken antibiotics, especially in the first 4 weeks of life? Have you ever eaten gluten in the form of wheat, rye, and barley? Anybody? Just checking. Not playing outdoors enough? Obsessed with a clean environment? Who's got Purell in their purse? Come on, give it up. Right? Eating sugary foods and artificial sweeteners, eating meat, fish, poultry, cheese, dairy. Anybody? Any of these factors mean anything to you? Yeah, we messed up our gut. So, you might say, after listening to me, you might say, you know what? I'm gonna clean up my diet, right? But most people fail. Why do they fail? It's because we have two brains. I don't know if you knew that. We have one up here, but we have the gut brain. And your enteric brain, I mean, you might go out here and say, you know, I really should have a salad for dinner, but your gut brain's gonna say, that little Indian chick, what does she know? You want a cheeseburger, right? So, your gut brain, experts say, the gut brain is a more complex nervous system, makes more neurotransmitters and hormones that regulate who you are. This is what's happening. They rule you. They rule us. So we have to turn around and do something about this. Enter the Shred 10 program. So think about like this. If you think about your gut microbiota as, if it's healthy, it's like a plush green lawn. And then if you got hit with antibiotics, everything dies. So you could take some probiotics. It's got limited value. You could try to replace bacteria. Don't want to talk about that tonight. So you can talk about feeding the good bacteria is the only strategy that really is something you can change right now, today. And every time you have a complete shake, you are feeding your good microbiota because they love fiber and resistant starches. And there's 8 grams of fiber and resistant starches in your complete shake. In fact, how many of you who have been doing this for a little while, you hate it when people call Juice Plus vitamins? No. All right, I got one for you. Stop calling complete a protein drink. That's an insult. It's so much more than that, okay? And what happens is then bacteria turn around and they make these nutrients that we need, like vitamin K and vitamin B12. They also make small chain fatty acids that help us heal that gut mucosa that we were talking about and heal the gut itself and the enterocytes. And Omega Blend also does the same thing. Omegas get absorbed and start to heal the gut. How many of you are loving your omegas, right? Okay. I honestly think it's, I'm going to talk about this for a second. I will make a Healthy Living Revolution video about this, talk about some of the questions that come up. But one of the questions that I want to address right here, right now, with the healthcare professionals in the room that have heard that you're supposed to have large amounts of DHA and EPA. We're talking about that right now. So we use these smaller omega fatty acids and we make larger fatty acids from them, such as DHA and EPA. And a lot of that is in your brain. So of course people think that you need all that stuff for your brain. And there's also this contention that people with a Western diet can't do a good job converting small omegas, plant omegas, into larger omegas like DHA and EPA. That's the reasoning that's behind it. However, it's completely wrong. This is a really interesting article talking about the whole fish oil industry, which is a $1.2 billion industry. Not only is it unsustainable to eat fish and the burps, right, and the tape, whatever, but it's really bad for you. So I'm going to go into some history. This a quick history of why people recommend high amounts of EPA and DHA, and it's completely wrong because the American Heart Association kind of messed things up a little while back. So back in the 70s, these two guys, Hans and Jorn, were studying Inuits. And they realized that these people ate mostly, whale meat or died higher in fatty fish. And they had lower incidence of heart attacks. So they hypothesized that, perhaps it's the omega fats.